Howdy. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the witnesses for making their presentations here this morning. And I'd like to talk just a little bit. I met with a group of young people from the Phoenix Military Academy in the city of Chicago. White youth, Hispanic youth, black youth, military academy. These are the best of the best. Have a conversation, everybody. We should have some of those people. I mean, I think, with all due respect to everybody here, we're a little too old to be having this conversation among ourselves about the problems that the police are encountering with young people. And I would simply suggest that next time we invite some of those young people. So bright, dynamic young people. You know what they're going to tell you, Sheriff Clark? They're going to tell you, I had listened to a young black man, lieutenant colonel in the Phoenix Military Academy, tell me that he has learned how to de-escalate when he is confronted and comes in an exchange with a police officer. That almost brought tears to my eyes. That this wonderful, brilliant young man, dedicated to this country, graduating from his class, has to talk about de-escalating. He doesn't see the police as a source of protection. He sees it as somebody that he has to learn. The police have to be the adults. The children have to learn how to be adults many times in how it is they exchange with police officers. You know, we're having a conversation here where people are saying, well, black people don't care about black people. Nobody's made that claim here. I don't know why certain members of my colleagues here talk about, well, they're not outraged when a black person kills a black person. That's not the issue here. That's really not the issue here. That's certainly an issue we might want to talk about, but it's not the issue. Nobody has made the claim that that's a good thing. You know, that rioters are out there getting paid. Nobody said here it's a good thing that rioters should be paid. I could understand when you're making a forceful argument against something that somebody is like sustaining. But it seems as though we're talking past each other as adults in this room instead of having young people. So I would just like, for the record, and for those, because I know there won't be enough time, I would like for the record, Mr. Chairman, that these are the questions that the Phoenix Military Academy students, if I could just have this, Mr. Chairman, for the record.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. Look, it's a young Latina, Jasmine Escogido. She said, how can minorities feel less of a double standard during interventions with law? Example, why does it feel like whites are treated with more respect than minorities when questioned by the police? And these are the students. And you know, to everybody here, understand something? I have talked to different groups of high school students, and they all tell you the same thing in the inner city. In Chicago last week, there were 45. And so, Sheriff Clark, you're right, too. There were 45 shootings in one weekend in the city of Chicago. Did I lock my grandson, Luisito, up? No. Did I tell my daughter, don't go on the streets? No. In my neighborhood, none of those shootings happened. In the neighborhood that Luis Gutiérrez, the congressman, lives in. It is a tale of two cities. The shootings happen in geographical areas. And in my city, still a city, you know, when I grew up, the majority of the population in the city of Chicago was white. So you would expect the majority of police officers to be white. Yet today, when whites no longer constitute a majority, the majority of police officers in the city of Chicago are white. Is it that we're telling everybody that only white folks want to be police officers and care about this? I think that's a fundamental problem. And so we go to Ferguson, where there might be 2 black police officers in a population that is almost 70% African American. That kind of disconnect is going to cause us. So I would think that we want to talk about some fundamental changes about how it is that we recruit people. And I don't know, Sheriff, maybe you answer this question, maybe you could help me. Because in Chicago, what I feel is, when I go talk to the cops that are in my district, and I go into some of the areas where there's more gang violence, I find it to be younger cops. And I find like the older cops, you know, like when my dad, you know, if he worked somewhere, by the time he had any seniority, he took the good shift, right? Are the young police officers getting the brunt of the work? What do you think?
Yeah, some of that is, Mr. Chair and
if you could just have a moment, just to if the police officers, like when you join the police force, the older veteran police officers who might have the training and the experience, are they the ones in the neighborhood where there's a lot of trouble and where you might need more veteran police officers? Or is seniority kind of give you a better shift?
Some of that's the collective bargaining issue. You get shift assignment. I agree with your assessment there. The older, wiser, more experienced are in your better assignments because of collective bargaining rules. That is an issue.
and I know we've gone over the time. I just want to say to Mr. Chairman, I hope we can have another hearing. I had a conversation with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. I don't know how many of you got to hear his inaugural speech yesterday, where he dedicated it to the youth and how it was that the city of Chicago, that no police force, that no government is going to take the place of a good mom and a good dad, but that we have to be there to make sure that those parents have the resources, and that we stop living, even the city of Chicago, in a tale of two cities, where people feel safe in part of the city and where the police and the community are in sync with one another, and another part where they're not. And the last thing is, let's bring the young people. Let's have, with all due respect, I think we could all, I'm 61, so someplace I'm a senior citizen already, so I call myself into that saying, let's bring some young people. There are not enough young people around here or out there, because that, they are 100%, as you all know, of our future. And you're not going to settle this issue, I believe, in a great measure, until we get young people and listen to their voices.